it's Ruby, and today I want to talk about low bar form. So I've been high bar squatting for over 4 years. I did it all through college and at my first powerlifting meet. And I think a lot of us start off with high bar squats just because it feels comfortable on your back and you feel that shelf where you want to keep the bar basically throughout the entire squat. But low bar squatting was a little more complex and transitioning to it was a little complicated for me. So the reason I decided to switch to low bar is not only because of purposes for wanting to lift more, as low bar squats can help you lift 5 to 10% more, but just because my high bar squats, whenever I got into the hole, every time I came up the bar would just start rolling on my neck, and every time I failed a squat I would probably fall forward or like fail forward and almost chop off my neck, Game of Thrones style. But yeah, low bar squat, it took a while for me to get comfortable with it. It's just 2 to 3 inches down your back, and that 2 to 3 inches makes the biggest difference in regards to lever length and hip drive and knees driving forward and everything. So my biggest problem with squatting high bar was that I was going way too deep, almost like weightlifting style or Olympic weightlifting style. I was just going butt to grass. I don't want to say the actual word on YouTube unless I bleep my mouth. So yes. So basically I was just going way too deep into my squat for powerlifting purposes. So what low bar squat has done for me is that it allows me to kind of get into the hole quicker with a shorter range of motion so that I'm hitting the bounce at the bottom a lot sooner, below parallel, rather than just going straight to the ground into like a butt to grass squat. So one of the things I'm still working on and that I'm gradually improving is kind of finding that placement on my back for a low bar squat. And the technique that I've used that's really helped me is kind of just pinching my shoulder blades back when you're under the bar and kind of extending your elbows back just so you can find that little shelf over your rear deltoids. And what's really helped me with just like getting that tightness back there and that flexibility is doing shoulder stretches as well as stretching the chest out to just get that flexibility through the back and that tightness that you want for low bar squatting. Once you feel that shelf on your back, when you're extending your elbows, you want to just lock it in there and kind of bring your elbows down and forward, just activate those lats and get really, really tight. And that's just gonna make you feel really comfortable with that bar in that different position rather than having it on top of your traps where it normally just feels comfortable for you. Where low bar just doesn't feel comfortable initially, it just starts gradually becoming the new norm. So I gotta admit, the first time that I switched to low bar, I just had the 45-pound bar on my back in that position and it just felt so strange, and it's gonna feel a little strange at first, honestly. I probably went down into my squat and I just fell forward. Like my whole center of gravity changed, and that's what low bar squatting does initially. It's just going to change your whole center of gravity. You're kind of relearning the movement. Just with a low bar squat, you're going to be leaning a lot more forward than usual than you would with a high bar squat, and that's completely normal. As you can see in my videos that I have a pretty intense forward lean, and just because you have a forward lean doesn't mean you're necessarily doing a low bar squat wrong. It's just making sure that you're still staying under the bar the entire time, and I found that box squats really help with that. And the thing that people mistaken for low bar squatting is that sure, you can end up doing a good morning back workout with it, but as long as you're not shooting your hips initially up first and then throwing your back and then extending your back to stand back up, it's okay to have a forward lean. And that really just depends on like your lever length and your back strength and all of that, but just because you're having a forward squat, I don't think it necessarily means that you're doing a good morning. But the most important thing that you really want to remember when you're low bar squatting is just keep the center of gravity in your midfoot as much as you can. Keep the bar over your midfoot. Of course, you're going to have a forward lean, but just trying to keep your back up and tight, and it's going to really ultimately help you carry your squat through. And another thing I've really tried to work on is kind of working on my lockout with a low bar squat. Instead of like extending my hips up too quickly, I want to just, once I'm at the bottom, you kind of just want to be aggressive and drive the hips up and forward and just keep your hips under the bar the entire time. And as a quad dominant lifter, that was a really big struggle for me. And the thing that's gone really strong during my transition to low bar is my hips and my hamstrings, and I've found that I've been able to utilize those more than actually using my quads for the most of the lift. So the box squat is really perfect to work on that. hip strengthening movement that you need for the low bar squat or any squat, even if you're doing high bar. So when you're working on the box squat, basically you want to make sure that you're squeezing your glutes throughout the entire movement, and you really just want to squeeze the glutes to help you get back up rather than leaning forward and getting back up into that squat. So the thing I'm still playing around with low bar squatting is grip width. So initially with high bar, I had my pinkies on the rings of the bar, and with low bar I found that I had to move my grip in a lot more just to keep the bar stable on my back. So the grip width I'm currently using is what I'm currently using for bench as well, just because it's really comfortable for me and I'm used to that positioning on the bar. But as I progress with low bar, maybe after nationals, I'm going to play around with grip width and maybe just bring it into the furthest in of the knurling that I can go. And I found that the more I bring the grip in, the more stable it feels on my back, and the tighter I can keep the bar on my back. So the reason why I haven't really been bringing my grip in as much and waiting to do it after nationals is because I have a lot of wrist issues and tendonitis in my wrist. And what I found is that when I transition to low bar, because I don't have that shelf on my traps that I'm used to, and I'm kind of building that shelf with my rear deltoids, is that my wrists are tending to like hold the bar back and it's overextending my wrist. So wearing wrist wraps has definitely helped, but just making sure that my wrists stay straight throughout the entire lift. Just working on that at the moment and keeping my wrist straight, that's my main focus. So one of the main reasons I switched to low bar, aside from the fact that the bar kept rolling onto my neck and was about to decapitate me, is that it just helped me squat 5 to 10% more than my initial weight. And my old 1-rep maxes that I could do, for a single, I could probably do for a double or a triple with low bar, just because it allows you to drive up in a different way and utilize a lot of the hip movements. So what would I recommend for lifters, low bar or high bar? It really depends on what you feel comfortable with, and it really depends on your sport. For powerlifting purposes, I do recommend switching to low bar because your main purpose is to hit the highest numbers at your meet, and low bar is really going to get you there and allows you to use a lot more of your body and allows you to have more drive in your squat. So squatting low bar as a power lifter or any other lifter allows you to have a bigger grind off the bottom. So for any lifters out there trying to decide if they want to squat low bar or high bar, I say just do whatever is most comfortable for you. You're not going to get additional benefits from squatting high bar and low bar. A squat is a squat, but for powerlifting purposes, I say just do low bar just because you can squat that much more and you have a bigger grind off the bottom. So if you're transitioning from high bar to low bar, it's going to feel different, but it's all about learning that new motor pattern. But once you start getting used to the low bar position, you'll just be flying up and down basically. So that's it guys, be sure to like my video and please subscribe. I promise you won't regret it. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.